My thought process is, I hate my job. After a few months, I just realized, like, that's it for the rest of my life. And I just that's not gonna work for me. What I know for sure now is that the most important thing is to be honest to yourself, to honor what you really passionate about.
Hello guys, welcome to this episode where I get to reach an amazing entrepreneur who's running an amazing business. And let me introduce you guys to her and welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Yitka.
Yeah. Would you just mind introducing yourself and definitely the kind of business you run?
Okay, so my name is Yitka, and I'm original from Czech Republic. So that's why I'm really pleased when Lavina asked me for the interview, because I would love to show that it's possible to do a business as a self-employed person or even therapist, even if you are not actually born in the UK or if you are foreigner with a foreigner's accent. But anyway, so about my business, I run a holistic therapy business. So I'm working, kind of build up the tools that work with the body. So I do holistic massage that work with the mind. I do EFT, which stands for emotional freedom techniques, and kind of finds the blocks that can manifest in the body, but oftentimes in the behavior or in stagnation in the life. And then I also work with the spirit, and I do Reiki healing. So wherever you are on your journey as a client, then I can meet you there and offer something.
Let's just start why you said you do come from a different country. What's been the journey like coming here to a new country and then deciding that I want to be self-employed? Was that for you?
Okay, so it was a long journey. It was a process because I was always passionate about traveling. And so for me, it was 2005, something like that, where I first came to England. But that was as an au pair. So I had no ambition of actually staying even in the UK. But then I discovered, I can actually sustain myself here. I can get a job. But, I still kind of thought, I'm not done. I want to do some traveling after I finished the uni. And so I did. Then afterwards, I went to Australia when I met my husband.
Yeah.
And so I brought him back because I couldn't take him back to the Czech Republic because he doesn't speak Czech. My family doesn't speak English, so it wouldn't quite work. So we decided to go to London, and from London to Bristol. And finally, I decided, hey, I actually want to do something for myself. Because one thing is to have a job and enjoy that, which I did not, and I work in administration and kind of boring stuff. And I had this passion for healing, and I just didn't know, as they always say, just follow your passion, do what you are passionate about. And I was just thinking, yeah, I get the concept, but like how you make passion in healing and in all this secret knowledge, how do you make it into occupation that brings you money? So, but then I found maybe just step by steps with something more rational, like a massage therapist, just first step. And then it just kind of evolved over the past 8 years. I kind of discovered, okay, I work with the body, something's missing. And that is usually, if you are stuck in a pattern that results in back pain, so I can remove the back pain. It comes back because it's something that you do in your life. You hate your job, you hate your boss or whatever it is, and that's create the stress. And then I thought, then we need to do something about the mind, so you kind of feel free to actually change it, make changes, so you don't have the back pain. So I learned the emotional freedom technique, and then I thought, hold on, but there is some kind of different guidance or different kind of energies that are involved, that might go way to the past, to the ancestors, or to the future. And it's kind of like, okay, I need to learn more about the spirit and about how everything works together. And then I came up together as a self-employed holistic therapist that I am now. Well, my thought process is, I hate my job. I just, when I realized, because that was my family, I have education and accountant and economist, the high paying manager, that was my future. And so that's why I was looking for some job that would match that. And so I was doing the admin in the office, which was, nice and secure and stable. I could get paid. But, after a few months, I just realized, like, that's it for the rest of my life. And I just like, that's not gonna work for me. And so then I was really thinking like, so what do I do? And that time I did not know what I wanted, but the problem was that actually I did know what I wanted somehow. I just didn't know how to kind of make it into living. And so that's why it was like push and pull. Hey, this one, but I don't know what else to do. The kind of the big unknown, like, as they say, jump and the net appear, like, okay, maybe not. And so for me, the thought process is I have to do something. But my inner saboteur, but not now, just wait, there's gonna be better time. And so what actually happened, I got pregnant, which pulled me for a little bit from that job. So I was on maternity leave, and then I was determined I'm not gonna go back. But of course, when the time came, I was willing to go back because it's just the prospect was just too scary, even though I knew I don't want to go back, in my heart. But with all the kind of how that's going to work, where we're going to take money and everything. So I was willing actually to go back. But lucky enough, they offered only full-time position, which I said I'm not going to miss on my babies, growing up. And so I took it. So I took redundancy. And that was the kind of push then, okay, I got the message from the universe that there is a nice chunk of money to start a new business. And after all, I am an accountant by education. I know how to, the marketing, promotion. So technically, I have all the tools. I just didn't quite have the courage. But this little push of redundancy, I just, okay, so let's learn how it works in England to set up the self-employed, business. So I work with my husband. So it was his business, and I was kind of tagging along to do the organization and administration, which I already knew how to do. And so from that, it was just first step of being self-employed. And from that, I kind of realized, okay, maybe that's gonna work. It is possible. It's possible for him with his crazy passion of, making a living from art, which at that time, so like everybody was saying, oh, just forget it. It's, starving artist and stuff. But it worked out. And I thought if it worked out for me, for him, so it might as well work out for me too. And so slowly then I start looking, so what can I do? And, from there, it just, I can't, complain from that. It happened. Just leads me on and on. So it's like a never ending. And I'm just expanding in the profession that I'm passionate about. So all the conversation I'm having, all the people I'm meeting, like before, if I would be sent for some training, it was just, accounts, like who cares? But now I just can't wait. When I'm reading, I just can't, all the information, and it's part of, of my business. So it's all adding up. So it's great. So I would recommend, to work with your inner saboteur and do it. So like for me at the beginning, because I knew how to set up and run business back in Czech when I studied at the uni, but it was going to be different, slightly different in England that I did not know. But as we started with my husband then, so there was a program that was initiated by council or some like if you're looking for a new job or if you're looking to be self-employed. So there was a program called Brave. And so they kind of gave you the overview of what you need to know, how to set up the accountancy system, how it works in here. And so this is why I kind of learned, yeah, that's kind of the same actually. And so it was very helpful, the first kind of dipping the toes. And I know that at the moment in the library, they run similar program or through the UK's libraries, there's something that you can talk and get support. So I would, recommend maybe that's where you start, and because that they will give you resources of what you need to learn and where to start really to make it official and legal. Yeah, well, for me, it was like this therapy business. I was starting like 3 times because we always started and then there was a baby on the way. So I paused, I changed. If you have any babies, you probably know that, from being single and free and do whatever, then comes the baby and you changed. And, so it was like 3 times start, stop. And then I had to learn something new that, to learn something that was missing, as I said, these different steps. And it was another pregnancy and another pause. And so this one is the third time that I'm starting the business. And so it's been now a little bit more than a year when I was starting to worry how I'm gonna get my clients. But I have learned from the first 2 trials when I tried all about like trying to think to offer cheaply, yeah, because the current rate say would be 50, 55 at the moment, and I would go 35 or something like that. That did not work. It did work that, it might draw in some people, but the thing is, what kind of people are looking for such an offer are people who would not be willing to pay the full price. So it might work that I got them in the door, and that wasn't the idea. I get them in the door, they get to try it, and they'll come back, or they will tell somebody. So they did enjoy, but very few, maybe 2 people out of 10 would actually come back, because they would say, they're just looking for the special offer to make it cheap. And so just maybe a few months ago, I really learned like how to target the right audience that I want to work with. And so those would be the people that have the set point already of are willing to spend on their self-care, that they value it, and so they're willing to pay the full price. So then I'm not kind of cutting on the on the nice things. They get the full product. And indeed, I think if you do a good job, like really good job, and I really, they pay me for an hour and they have my full attention, I'm present for them, I get all the knowledge from, body, mind, spirit. So they get everything. They get heated room, they get, everything. So that is kind of perfect. And so they appreciate it. And so that kind of makes me different perhaps from the other businesses that of the times, it's just get that client through the door, pay and go. So for me, it's really make it special for them. So and it works. That works for me really well, because not only they do come back, so now it's maybe 2/3 of customers are coming back again and again, which I'm so pleased because all the work over the year that I put in is now paying off, because people are coming back, people are recommending their friends, and buying vouchers, and then they try and then they come back again. So I would say maybe forget doing it cheaply, but think about who you want to really work, who will value what you have to offer, and then give it to them the best you can. Okay, well, the retention, that for me is, that's my wild card, that I really want them to come back, and so that's why I do my best. So my retention is really good. Like with the center, they choose to come back and book again. But I don't really have the traditional marketing that you have to kind of sell yourself, sell your message. Yeah, like deep down, I just don't like it, because for me it's healing, and a part of me is such a healing. I wish it could be maybe founded from the NHS, and part of what I do can be, but like overall I would like to for people to have access. And but on the other hand, I need to make a living as well. So what worked really well for me is that I have these people who are willing and are able to actually pay for my services, and that's enough for me. So I'm not here to like be like crazy rich, even if it happens fine with me, but is for me to be comfortable, and then I can actually focus for the people who cannot afford it, but I am interested in working with. And so I'm kind of keeping balance, because from people like that who would benefit but could not afford, I learn a lot. Then I apply what I've learned to people who can afford it, and so it kind of like increases the retention, because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. That's the important part. And yeah, so what I was actually saying, the traditional marketing, like thinking how to sell myself and my services. So I don't do that. I really sell myself when I'm one-to-one with the people. And apart from that, I have in the shop window, I have my posters and my leaflets, but it's not kind of the main thing. So my main thing is to actually go and speak people, because then they will get the feel of who you are, what you do. They can ask you. So if you have a chance to have exposure, good. But if you have a chance to festivals or something where you can have a space and have exposure and to talk to people, that worked for me really well. Okay, well, so for the first one, is it important to have a unique? Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, but also the truth is that you are unique. So if you are you yourself, then you will have this unique, selling point, or your unique approach, because you have different histories. So in a way, as long as you preserve yourself and be the unique, the authentic self, then you have exactly what you're looking for. And so what often happens, or what I also tried, when I finished my massage course, and I was worried, like if all the people now will be offering, every half a year just from our school, say 20, 30 new therapists entering the market. And it's like, ooh, how are we gonna compete for, the people? It does not work like that. It could work like that you have to compete and you have to have the better expertise or better this, better that. But it's not nice. It doesn't have to be that way, as they call it. This is the red waters of, like, go get your client and snatch them from somebody else. It doesn't have to be like that. Because then I realized, like, really, I'm bringing my background, I'm bringing my education, my specific, skill set from my life, from my previous experience from work, but also those my passions of the healing and different modalities that I bring together, which makes it as a unique selling point and makes me different from others. And then you would have different selling point because you would have different set of experiences that you can offer. But even if you would be just you without anything else, just the way you speak to people, it's gonna be already the unique selling point. So as long as you are authentic and bring everything in that is you, then that's all you need. So you don't need to kind of trying to figure out, and package it and market it. I don't think, it might be good. I don't know. It wasn't necessary for me. It's getting easier. But it's a long process. So I have changed a lot over the, I don't know, 10-15 years. So when I look back, only if I look back, is like when I was in the office, it was just so not me. I was just trying to match certain expectations, and so over the time. But there was a reason, because there are fears, to show your passions and to show what you really think, to show who you really are, and it's so understandable. But over the time, what I've learned about the psyche and about how your past forms how you perceive yourself and how you present yourself, because maybe sometimes you hold yourself back because you've learned, like, if you are yourself, then everybody else will be better than you. They will reject you, they will laugh at you. For me, it was quite long a process, and it's still a process when I'm kind of discovering new parts of me and kind of like, okay, how can I bring that? Is that, is the society ready for this approach? So I would say, like, start with yourself, because if you accept it with yourself, okay, so I'm from Eastern Europe, I will have, different challenges, but I will have also different advantages that I can offer to clients. But it's gonna be like ongoing process of embracing all of you and being able to kind of be authentic in all aspects of what you're doing. But it's possible. And oftentimes that's when the people are truly successful, because they are themselves. So they're not trying to match somebody else's business. Yeah, I think it worked well. But once again, so for me, it was a passion that was kind of, blurry passion at the beginning. So just the steps, as I said, so I was learning because I wanted to know how the body actually works and how the muscles works and how it all fits together. And so then I just, added another with the psyche and another with the spirit. And so it just grows just as my interest into, because say if you read a book or study something, it usually, you finish to have something answered, but then new questions will come up. So if this one is then true, if this one, how it works, then something else you are interested in. And so for me, thankfully, because it's my passion, just kind of growing into whichever direction I want, and that works really well, because then I'm also more diversified. So as there was COVID, and I would not be able to do one-to-one, close contact massage. But what I can do is the EFT, which I can do over Zoom as well. So it's like all the skills gives me more variety how to work with the people, because at the moment I am actually able to find clients globally as long as they have access to internet. So that was like very new dimension of security for the business, is to learn like different skills that I can work with people from different continents. That worked quite well too. Well, I did have challenge. Like for me, it was I did not have my own space, and as a new therapist, I did not have certain amount of clients coming every week. And so for me, it was challenging that I had to hire some room somewhere. And so say I would hire like Tuesday and Thursday, time slots, and then I could not get the people to book for that, and maybe they could actually come and see me for a massage, but on different time. So like for me it was very stressful that I had this one and I need to fill them up, and it's just like that was a big challenge. And so that's why I was so glad that when we got this property to kind of resolve it, because I didn't find how else to resolve it. I mean, there are kind of flexible like rental agreement that you can rent by hour, but it's kind of not the same. Then I had to drag all my stuff every time I was seeing a client, so that was quite challenging. So if you have your own room like I have now, then I can really truly, once again, it can be expression of myself and my own approach, because I can make it truly my own and kind of show because I designed this room, just you step in and you kind of feel better. So I don't need to do anything else, just being here and being in this environment make you better. But yeah, so that was the challenge, like where to settle and how to make it work, so I'm not kind of losing money and have enough flexibility to offer different slots. But I resolve it by actually having my own space.
I'm gonna ask you my final question, and this is, what is one thing as an
What I know for sure now is that the most important thing is to be honest to yourself and to answer the question, so what it is that actually I want to do. Like if nobody else, and it's kind of cliche now, isn't it? Like everybody, what would you be doing if you wouldn't be paid? And so it's quite easy to answer because you are already doing whatever it is that you wouldn't be paid. And so the question is, don't worry about how to make it living. Just follow that and do that, and it will just come together. So that's what I know sure, to honor what you're really passionate about, and that from then the universe or whatever it is for you will take you from there.
I've really learned a lot from you today.
Okay, so I'm located on top of the Pigsty Hill on a Gloucester Road. So this is the basement of Artigo shop and in Bristol. And the social media, I said I don't have any social media. I'm so lame on that. I just, at the moment, like whenever I step on Facebook with all the algorithms just draw me in. So I'm just not going there. So I have a website, if that counts like a social media. So it's pathwaysofwellness.com.uk. And so I do have Facebook, but check that out, Pathways of Wellness as well. If if you can get some information from there and get in touch, and it would be lovely to have you on board.
And that's the end of it, guys. We're gonna meet in the next episode. It's a bye bye.